Pisces, how you doing? Let's find out. Got the heater here. It's flippin' freezing. uh, let's see. Makes it kind of hard to shuffle the cards, actually. At least this deck. This deck is sticking together. Like the friction, static cling or something. It's electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie. All right. Just gonna heat my hands up real quick. Have some tea. It says, be kind to others, but always be compassionate to yourself. I read it with the last reading, which was Aquarius, and I don't know, it doesn't really make sense to me because I feel like it should be the opposite. I feel like there's something about, like you should be kind to yourself. You have compassion for other people, and not that you should be unkind to others, but the fact that they said but, like be compassionate to others and be kind to yourself. I don't know. What's that movie? And then no, and then what is that? Whatever. If you know, let me know. Five of Cups. Well, maybe you're not being kind to yourself. Maybe you're being unkind to yourself. Maybe you're being sort of hard on yourself. Let's see. What's going on with the feminine? Nine of Pentacles. Queen of Swords. Knight of Wands. Maybe lighting your own way. I don't know, this wand doesn't really have anything. Like it's maybe embering, but it's not really a light. There's not a flame there. And there's some sort of, they're linked. See how they're like attached? They're not just sitting on this flea, it's like they're attached to it, which could be, a shadow. It's a vampire, right? It's a parasite. I'm just watching Insidious, and she said that it's not a ghost, it's a parasite, you know? And then it's just fun. But yeah, there's something that's maybe like you're holding on to, which you guys do, Pisces, god damn, you guys do, holding on to some sort of thing the thing that drained you. I also started, but I haven't finished it because, I don't know, it was late and I wasn't in the mood for a long drama at the time, but Interview with a Vampire. And you know, it's like, what is it? Brad Pitt is he a Sagittarius and Tom Cruise is a Cancer. It's like he's sort of, and that's the moon, the chariot, the moon, and Sagittarius is Temperance, which is about tempering yourself against your secular lower vibrations, your ego, your shadows. It's tempering arising from your temptations, right? It's purity, it's faith, it's trust in the divine. And so this is kind of like, see how they're sort of like charioting away under the full moon? Maybe you have a Cancerian placement, maybe you're dealing with a Cancer, but this is like, you also share the moon with Cancer. But this is like your heart is misled. You've been misleading your heart. Somebody misled your heart, your truth. Your sun, the sun and the moon share the heart chakra. So somebody misled your heart, but it's like you've taken that and you ran with it, right? You've taken the lies that somebody else gave you and you're flying away with it. You're running away with it. So it's like you're still carrying the trauma. There's an attachment to the past. There's an attachment to a lie that is not serving you. Maybe the lie is that you don't need anybody, because we have this Knight of Wands is, Knight of Wands, maybe you have a fire placement, but this is, maybe your moon is a fire sign. They're doing construction across the street. But this is a Nine of Pentacles. This is an individual who's like, hey, look at me. And they've got their little chariot wheel back here. But then they've got this stopper. It's like the roller skates. They have a little stopper in the front. It's like they're not rolling, they're not moving. So yeah, they might look good. They might be very fashionable, but this is like independence. So this could be the lie that I don't need anybody, because over here, they're back to back with the Queen of Swords, right? And the Queen of Swords is usually one sword and the other hand is open out, right? In the Rider-Waite, traditional Rider-Waite deck, she has one hand out and the sword up. So she's willing to receive offers, listen to others, right? But she has her sword there as her boundary. It's like, if I don't like it, I'm not going to take it. This one is fearful. It's like, she's shaking. Her hands are shaking. She's not, she doesn't have a steady hand, a steady sword there. She's got two swords. She's very guarded against love, right? And it's like, with this blood here, that's new blood. That's new. It's still dripping, right? It's not clotted yet. So there could be, and she's crying underneath this veil, underneath this, and she's not looking directly out. She's looking to the side. It's somebody who's very unsure about their boundaries. So maybe you don't really trust yourself. You don't feel like you're enough. You don't trust yourself and your worthiness and your value to welcome in a new love. Where is that blood coming from? Ooh, 10 of Swords. I was getting like emotional cutting. That's specific, but if that's literally the case, but if, figuratively speaking, emotional cutting is like continuing to do the damage. Like you're carrying this shadow, you're carrying this attachment to this lie about yourself, that you're unworthy of love, that you're unworthy of accepting help. This could be hyper independence. But the 10 of Swords is the need to bring an end to this, to overthinking, to anxiety, to stress, to worry, to mental disruptions, overthinking. That's and deception, right? The 10 of Swords in the Rider-Waite is 10 swords in the back of an individual laying prone, face down, ass up. That's the way you like to fog. How many licks does it take till you get to the center? How many licks? Like when you take a lick is also a term for like hitting somebody, right? There's some sort of abuse going on here. And with the swords, I would say that it's mental abuse, right? But with the blood drawn there, could be physical abuse, right? Typically, you know, when we don't feel like, emotional cutting is bringing the pain, the internal pain, to the surface, so you can see it. Because if you can see it, you can deal with it, right? If it's emotional, if it's unseen, if it's in your head, if it's in your heart, you can't see it. You just feel it. So it just, like, it consumes you, and you have no control over it. This is a controlling aspect. Maybe you need to release control. You don't have control when you fall in love, right? The Fool just takes a leap of faith. And so this could be an issue with your faith. This could be an issue with, and faith is inevitably a faith in ourselves, a faith that we, especially as Pisces being the high priestess, that we have the foresight, that we have the insight to discern what is good for us, what isn't. That's what the Queen of Swords does. But this is Two of Swords. This is the need to make a choice and relinquish one of those swords and work on the sword that you have there. If you have a strong enough sword, if you tempered that sword, right, through temperance, we're in temperance season, Sagittarius, maybe you have a Sagittarius placement. Maybe you're dealing with Sagittarius with that Knight of Wands. But this is like, and Knight of Wands can also be like casual partners, right, with this Nine of Pentacles. So that you might just be attracting a lot of leeches who are trying to come in. Maybe they're coming after your money. Maybe they're coming after your status. Narcissists don't go after people who are weak. They go after people who are strong because they don't have strength. So they want to come after them to leech off of their strength. That's, you know, parasites and vectors and viruses. They need a healthy host to pass along whatever it is that they're trying to, whatever bullshit they're trying to pass along. So, but this is like not being sure enough of your one sword, that you have to have that backup sword. But that backup sword is actually a form of self-sabotage. All right? It's actually holding you back. It's keeping you locked in a box. So there's some sort of affirmation, some sort of truth, some sort of, which is actually a lie, right? Because the Queen of Swords doesn't need to draw blood just to establish her boundaries, to set her boundaries, right? That's this sword here. You don't need blood on that. So if you're drawing blood, that means that you are telling a lie. Maybe you're being aggressive with your words towards yourself. Like you're just saying ugly things to yourself, and that feels like it comes from, like all things, comes from your childhood. It comes from somebody else telling you you're not enough. We have strength here. Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles is faith, that you've planted the seeds, that you've done the work, that you have the ability to grow from the work that you're doing. Right? This is like you reap what you sow. And this is like doubt. There's a doubt of you know, maybe you say you want love, but then all of your actions say otherwise. Your words say otherwise. So you might feel like, I want it, but when you try to if you're trying to control love, right? If you're trying to bring love to the surface and make it intellectual and bring it into a sword's energy, it becomes overthinking, right? If you're trying to like call in your divine counterpart, and you know, this is like beyond sleep interruptions, this is beyond anxiety, maybe headaches, right? Things of the mind, things of the thoughts, the words. You could have issues with your throat chakra just because you know, your words are not aligned. There's something that I feel like you're being too cutting with your words, and that could be towards yourself, that can be towards others. I mean, how we treat ourselves is how we treat others, and vice versa. So it will eventually, if it hasn't already, reverberate out or in, right? Could be judgments that you're passing on others. But if you're attracting people that you feel the need to judge, or you could be afraid of judgment or being misjudged as well. But if you're attracting those people, then that's where you need to look. You need to lift this veil that she has over her eyes, lift this veil and look at what you're attracting. Because if this is what you're attracting, this is the one who comes in for a good time, not a long time. If you're attracting these vectors and these, it could be one of two things. It's probably both things. There's a shadow in you that needs to be brought to the surface, that needs to be illuminated, that needs to be tended to, nurtured. Some sort of shadow, some sort of conditional way of thinking, some conditional belief system that you need to look at, because there's something in you that says, I'm only worthy of this. And you're worthy of a lot more than this. You don't deserve this. Nobody deserves this. Well, maybe some people. But you deserve a divine counterpart. You deserve a king of wands, or even better yet, an emperor, right? So that you just need to work on trusting your discernment, trusting, and you're a mutable sign. Mutable signs are all about water and swords, trusting their discernment, trusting their feelings, right? So getting into a more Queen of Cups, and you're also water. So, maybe needing to hydrate, right? Needing to change your water filters, right? That's maybe sounds silly or superficial, but that's how you can practically shift the energy of your water. You can speak into your water before you drink it. I love you, I love you, I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Gratitude, right? Because if you feel like you're not enough, that means you feel like you don't have enough. There's something in your external environment that is a facade, right? And with this Nine of Pentacles, if maybe you have money, your house looks good, right? But this is like they're wearing a mask, right? It's fake. There's something superficial about this perceived independence, or this perceived abundance. And these parasites, they'll find the chinks in that armor, right? You really want the Ten of Pentacles. You want your union. So, doing water spell work on your water, taking warm, soothing baths, maybe soaking your feet in essential oils, Epsom salt. I have like assorted incense, and they have the little description of which, they have different color sticks or whatever, and so it tells you which one is which. But I pick them randomly and then look at which one I pick. So the one that I picked for your reading, yours and Aquarius's reading, was frankincense. And so yeah, maybe putting some frankincense in your bath water, or frankincense on your feet, doing a foot soak or something like that. Getting, because that would nurture your feet, your grounding, your earthy feminine energy, which will help, and it's water as well, so it will nurture the feminine, right? Because this Queen of Swords is in a very guarded place. So to be in a feminine energy is to be not guarded. They know that they're divinely protected. They know that what is for them will come to them. What isn't for them will work itself away from them. They don't have to be actively protecting themselves. They don't have to be guarded. They just know, and they're ready to receive. And so if you want to get into that feminine energy of being ready to receive, then there's a need to have faith in your boundaries that you've set, right? So maybe making a list of your boundaries, maybe bringing them into, if you're in the swords, blocked swords energy, you can make a list, right? Bring it into the surface. bring your feelings to the surface. Journaling is really helpful. Maybe dream journaling is always very good for you guys, because you are the high priestess. You are, water, the moon. You guys are all about the dreams, and you are big dreamers. You're idealists. You're romantics, right? So with the masculine here, we have strength. Ooh, could be dealing with a Leo. We have strength, Seven of Pentacles, and the Sun, right? The Seven of Pentacles is growth, using the sun. Also, like if you're in that cold moon energy, this is needing to bring it into the 3D, bring it into a place of warmth. And I do feel like this Queen of Swords, there's something very cold about this. So maybe needing to get out in the sun, right? You can make some sun teas, right? Infuse your teas, infuse your water, because maybe, we don't hydrate as well in the winter time, and so you might just not be hydrating that well, which I feel you. So maybe drinking some teas will help, but you could infuse them with the sun, put them in your window, put them out on the patio or whatever, get some sun, and make some sun tea. And then you infuse it with those electrons, right? Because we are electromagnetic, and if you are struggling with magnetic energy of being attached to something, right, then you can use fire to detach, right? Maybe doing a fire ceremony. I do feel like warm water, warm baths, warm teas, warm foot soaks. What was I thinking? Like steams. Maybe doing it with the feminine, you could maybe do some yoni steams, because we have some attachments in the root and the sacral chakras, right? Because the wands is like sexual energy. So there could be some attachments to that where you need to cater to your yoni, do some yoni steaming. Now, if you're a male, you could do you can still do self-care with the foot soaks. You could do facial steams, take a warm bath, put some bubbles in there, and like get bougie with it, like nurture yourself in a warm way. But this Queen of Swords and these cards were for the feminine, so it's more likely that they have a yoni to steam. But I don't want to leave the masculines out. Y'all can. I mean, I don't know if there are like testicular steams, root steams. I don't know. I mean, I think it would work for just kind of cleansing the general area. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into that. It makes sense. I mean, anal steams. It's got to be a thing. Somebody's out there doing it. Gwyneth Paltrow's husband or something. All right, so the sun and strength, a lot of Leo energy, a lot of heart chakra, warming that heart chakra up, heating it up, bringing some warmth to the body, right? We are a body of water. So first, hydrate and nurture in a very tangible way that you can see by drinking water, drinking teas. If you have, if you have bodies of water that you want to get into during this time of year, have at it. Maybe you have a heated pool that you have access to, or like a gym pool that's, indoor. Get in that, get in some water, immerse yourself in water. You could do like a sensory deprivation tank or something. Get yourself, and that's the bath. If you don't have a bath, take a long, warm shower. Maybe put some essential oils, light some candles. Like, I feel like you guys need to get romantic and treat yourselves in a very dreamy, romantic-y way. Because there's a lot of like cold, blocked energy, and it's the masculine, like infiltrating the feminine, right? So there's a hyper independence, there's a hyper masculinity that's messing with the feminine side of this connection, right? And it's like a toxic masculinity, right? With this Knight of Wands. So just like the essence, or like the fundamental practice of self-cutting, right? And if that's literally the case with you, because I keep going back to that, if that is the case with you, if you are self-harming, you know, there are outlets, there are resources that I feel you need to maybe speak on this, and find some communities, find some support for that. You know, I know there are hotlines, but it's essentially what that is, again, is bringing that pain to the surface, bringing the unseen into the seen, which is very much the your counterpart, your tarot counterpart of the High Priestess is the High Priest, which is Taurus. You might have a Taurus placement, but that's the High Priest, or the Hierophant, is the one who brings the unseen into the seen. They translate and they mediate, they're a medium for what they can't see, what others can't see with the 5D, into the 3D, into the seen. And so they're teachers, they're spiritual teachers and leaders. Now, that again is like getting into your earth, going outside. You know, this morning, I've had the house closed up, been like glued to my space heaters. So it's been cold. We had some freezes come through, and I do not like the fucking cold. I repeat, I do not like the fucking cold. It's just pointless and miserable, especially in Florida, because there's no snow. At least if there's snow, and if it shifts into the season, then it stays the season. If it's winter, then it's winter until it's not winter anymore. In Florida, it's like, oh, it's summer, oh, it's spring, oh, it's the, you know, it's like, make up your fucking mind. So I don't like that unpredictability. That is my fixed Taurus nature. I like to know what's going on, you know, and just like make a decision and stick with it, you know. And so ways that you can tap into Taurus energy or your earth energy, you know, and your polar sign is Virgo, right? You know, Virgo and Taurus, yeah, because Capricorn's like a workaholic, so that's going to be more in line with this, like, hyper independence. So yeah, you don't necessarily want to get into that place. Virgo can be a little tricky because they and you both struggle with being perfect. I was going to say with perfection, but being perfect, which is going to stunt any sort of growth that you can have. So I think Taurus is the most grounded place that you can sort of migrate energetically from your High Priestess. Like, you're having trouble with your High Priestess, you're having trouble with your third eye, your intuition, trusting the divine, trusting your process and your intuition, which happens when you've been dealing with parasites, when you were raised by parasites even. You've been gaslit, you've been neglected, if there was abuse, there was something that, you know, like this mental disruption, mental illness. If you were raised by anything, or you around that when you grew up, if your love language was neglected, you were told, literally or through action or inaction, that you were not worthy of love. And so you were gaslit, you were manipulated, and those things will make your fear feel like intuition, and will make your intuition feel like fear, right? They're sort of indecipherable at that point, because and discernment comes from being able to know what's for you, what's not for you, and that is all about your gut. It's all about your intuition, right? And Taurus love food, and they like I've got all my plants here, so maybe tending to some soil, some green, surrounding yourself with green, surrounding yourself with life, right? And it's cold, so maybe going outside doesn't sound that great, but what I was saying is this morning I've had the house closed up, so I just bundled up and said, screw it, and opened the house up so that I could get some fresh air in here. So you might just need like some fresh air. Bundle up, go for a walk. Bundle up, go sit underneath the sun. You know, there's some sun out there. It's cold, but you can go out there, wrap yourself in a blanket. Maybe you have a fire pit or something like that. But you know, go get in the sun. You need some sunlight. I feel like you need some healing electrons. You need that. It's electric, boogie woogie woogie. But the way that you can charge your inner solar system and solar power is by doing maybe some sun salutations, right? Warming the body up through movement. And that can just be dancing, boogie woogie woogie. Maybe just dance, you know, just put on your favorite playlist, open the house up, open your space up, get that fresh air, drink your water, drink your tea, and just get moving, get moving, get moving. And then you can always just jump in the warm shower and get next to a fireplace or your heater, turn your heat on or something like that. And if you have a heat, if you have heat, you can just turn your heat on, and you don't necessarily have to be all bundled up like I am. You know, if you're not just relying on space heaters. So, yeah, I feel like there's a warmth that needs to come, and that warmth from the sun is God. This is the divine. This is that inner trust of the heart space, the heart chakra. Your heart feels very broken. I mean, it's 3 of Swords or 10 of Swords here, but that 3 of Swords is like, this is in your heart. It's gone through your heart space. Keep bleeding, I keep bleeding love. Oh, and you know what? That's kind of like perfect. She's a Gemini, but I think he's a Cancer. But Natalie Portman and Ashton Kutcher in No Strings Attached, right? Because we're dealing with attachments here. But No Strings Attached, they are like friends with benefits. They've known each other for a long time. Maybe you've known your counterpart for a long time. But you've been sort of avoidant of them. But she's a very hyper independent person. You know, she's a resident. She's and she's just very like reluctant to. I would say not just reluctant. She's resistant to the idea of love, of that from whatever she experienced growing up. And Ashton Kutcher's character, maybe there is like an age difference. I don't know if he is younger or older than her. I think they're the same age in the movie for sure. But there's something more jovial and sort of playful about him. And so, you know, your person if you'll let them, they'll bring that out of you, right? You have a playfulness, you have a, you know, and if you want the Lovers, they were originally, that card was the Dancers, right? So I feel like dancing might be very important to you, or like movement, you know, flow, yoga, movement of the body. And it doesn't have to be coordinated. It doesn't have to be perfect. No one even has to see it. Just shut yourself in a room and dance around. Move your body. You can move your entire body from head to toe, front to back, side to side on a yoga mat, right? Like if you can if you can activate every muscle in your body and get your breath going, right? Because swords are also breath. So it's like this person is stifled. They're in a box. They're shut in. It's like the Hermit. And the Hermit, or Virgo, is all about perfection, right? They struggle with that perfection. So it's like maybe you've been holding back from expressing yourself or being playful or being jovial, being light, which is going to be the thing that puts you on the frequency to welcome in this love, because it is what you inevitably want. It is what you dreamed of. You always wanted somebody who was that you could play with, that you could dance with, that you could laugh with, that you could sing with, right? So you got to start dancing and singing and playing and laughing, right? But that's getting out of that. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be right. And other people don't have to like it. Maybe you're worried about what other people are going to say or think. Who gives a fuck? I know that's easier said than done, but death with the Ten of Swords here. Yeah, this is a big, like, ego death, and not in a way that I feel like you are putting others down, or like you're narcissistic, or you need to come down a notch. I think this is just an ego, an attachment to the ego. Could be dealing with a Scorpio, but I feel like this is more about you healing this attachment and breaking this cycle of telling yourself lies, right? We like just tell the stories that our parents told us, and that's their stories, and maybe they were true for them, but they're not true for you. And so this is like you releasing that part of your ego, your shadows, deep down inside, the stuff that you can't see. When you start moving your body, that is how you bring the feelings to the surface. That's how you recognize it. Yoga is that conversation with self. Dance is that expression of self, right? So if you start moving the physical body, if you go for a walk, you're not going to be able to help it, but notice things in nature, signs, synchronicities, and things that mirror what's going on within you. If you start dancing or moving your body, you're like, oh man, my right hip is really stuck or whatever. There's something like, there's a stitch there, something feels off there. It calls your attention into the physical body, but the physical body is just a representation of what is, it's a cellular, molecular, physical representation of what's going on energetically. And all of our cells and our molecules hold that energy that's been repressed, that's been shoved into those corners. We're like, I'll deal with that later. I'll deal with that never. And then when we start moving, we're like, God, that kind of hurts. But the more you move it, right, the more awareness, the more open it becomes, and that bubbles up. Now you likely will, with all of this like hurt that I'm seeing here and feeling, you might start dancing around or moving your body, and sometimes you just cry. When you physically open the heart space and it's been closed off for so long because you've been in this fear-based state, when you start bringing that warmth to the heart space and let that inner child just run free, like a wild horse, just run free, hair blowing in the wind, and yeah, maybe you need to, something that my friends did for me for one of my birthdays, that was very cool, because I feel like you need to lose control a bit, Pisces, is they blindfolded me and then drove to like the surprise that of where they were taking me or whatever. But riding, and I love rides, like I love roller coasters. I used to be really afraid of them as a kid, but then once I got on them, I did the bungee thing. I've been bungee jumping, but maybe like skydiving, bungee jumping, maybe just like going and riding roller coasters, because that gives you that sense of security that maybe bungee jumping and skydiving don't. So there's a way that you can, and if you have a friend or somebody that you trust, blindfold yourself and just drive around with the windows down. I feel like your hair needs to blow, and it's like Friends. Me here with my shaved head because Rachel's trying to sell the boat. I don't know if you watch Friends or if you know this episode, but yeah, it's like she's like trying to sell him this boat, and she's like, with the wind blowing in your, and then she realizes he's bald. She's like, arms, so maybe you don't have hair, maybe you are bald or something, but I feel like you need the wind on your face. I feel like you need fresh air, you need the wind on your face. This is like woo, my eye just twitched, and my words just twitched, my throat just twitched. This is like trapped, stale air, right? Which is very much how we get these parasites during the winter. That's why we get viruses and we get the cold and all that. It's like because we're not hydrating, we're not out in the sun. The sun kills a ton of microbes. Like it cleanses us just by sitting in it. It recharges us. So internally as well, it helps to kill all these cancer cells or precancerous things, like things that disruptions in the body. It helps heal that. The sun is very healing. I feel like you need to infuse your life with the sun, with all the elements here in their purest form, like the sun, the wind, water, and then the earth, would be to go put your bare feet on the ground, put your hands in the soil, plant something, garden something, and maybe, wherever you are, you can't plant outside. Well, maybe you have a window that you could just put one plant in, or maybe do like a little herb garden, and if you, if you are worried about it being perfect or not being able to grow enough, or if it doesn't grow, that might discourage you or make you feel like you're a piece of shit, or because I feel like you're really being awful to yourself with the things that you're saying. I don't just feel like it's a feeling of I'm not enough. It's like you're being really, really mean to yourself. Stop doing that. Don't be mean to my friend. But beans are really good. If you put beans in, that's why they have kids do it. Put them in a little plastic cup with some soil. Beans will grow, right? Put some beans. Wheatgrass is really grows pretty well, and you can also infuse your drinks with that, right? And consume it. You can put it in your salads if you want. You could juice it. It's also really textures. Taurus is all about textures, right? So feeling the plants when you're on your walks. Maybe just feel plants as you walk by. Make sure that you're in comfortable clothes. Comfort the five senses to open yourself up to the sixth sense, which is the high priestess, which is the third eye, which is seeing the 5D, right? So it's communicating with source. So comfort the five senses, because I feel like something in the physical world is really blocking your ability to trust your sight, right? And so that's, open the house up, clean the house, clean yourself. I mean, you might be in a place of feeling very depressed, and maybe you're not doing the self-care stuff. Maybe basic stuff, Oil pulling is really good for helping remove microbes from the mouth, really cleaning the mouth. And this is the first phase or stage of our gut health, like our gut microbiome. So there's something about your digestive system, your immune system, that needs to be nurtured and helped. And it's, again, maybe you're drinking coffee, but coffee is acidic and it strips your gut microbiome, and it's not healthy for you. There are some antioxidants and benefits to having coffee, and it can help with strokes. And there's all kinds of studies out there that help perpetuate the usefulness of coffee, but not in the way that we drink it. Not if you're getting it every day at Starbucks. If you're you have to have coffee to wake up. If you're drinking a lot of caffeine is an addiction. It's a stimulant, and it causes anxiety. It causes disruptions in sleep. So it's going to be helping this, right? I feel like you need to get to a place where you're, and I'm that way. I drink decaf, but I still like coffee, and I will drink coffee all day long because I love the flavor of it, and it's warm, especially now. I'll drink it all day long and not drink any water, and then wonder why my heart's palpitating at night. And it's because my body's in survival mode because I'm dehydrating it, and it's help. There's a positive feedback loop there. Positive feedback loops in physiology are not good. Positive feedback loops are actually a hormonal imbalance. It's the messaging system of our endocrine system. That is our messaging system. So it's a signal being sent out, and so it's an overflow of something. it's too much of a good thing, too much of a bad thing. It's just too much. And balance, homeostasis, is just enough. It's not too much, it's not too little, it's just enough. So there's something about getting your balance. And that goes back to yoga and dance, right? Like, I feel like you guys just need to get out there. We have the Two of Swords. See, there's that Two of Swords, and she got that blindfold on. You need to drop one of those swords. It's not serving you. You know, it's not serving you. You don't need it. You are divinely protected. You need some affirmations here, like, and maybe affirming each one of your chakras is going to be useful, like going up and saying, like, I am free, instead of saying, like, I am not attached. Whenever you say, like, I am not, or I don't, whenever you put like a negative connotation in, even if it's a positive statement, it can confuse the universe, because the universe just speaks in like I am statements. So maybe creating like some I am statements that say, like, I am balanced, I am free, you have no attachments in the root, you know, I am full, I am satisfied, I am abundant, I am love, I am love, I am love. I feel like you need to say, I am protected, I am love, I am perfect, I am, and maybe not even taking, I mean, if saying I am perfect helps, do whatever works for you, but I feel like that word perfect is just such a stupid fucking word, and so many people get hung up on what it means, and there's no such thing as perfection, except it's subjective, it's relative, so there's no such thing as it objectively, right? And so it's like perfection only exists when you feel like you are enough, when you feel like you are all the things that this attachment is keeping you from. I don't like this fucker. Let's talk about them. Let's put a little light on them. Four of Cups. So we got the Four of Cups twice. Four of Cups is, yeah, maybe, okay. So again, maybe you are in that independent place, you've been single, you're ready for love, maybe you've tried to get on dating sites or open yourself up, maybe you've started putting yourself out there, and you just kept getting fuckboys, because this is like a fuckboy. I'm getting fuckboy energy from this. So maybe you kept getting that, and so you're kind of like, oh my gosh, this just sucks. I just don't want this. And you're just like throwing them over the edge. There's that blood wine again. Blood wine, whatever. Red wine. But again, maybe you were like, the way that you were doing it, if you were like trying online dating, you know, online dating is really, it's designed around casual connections. It's designed around quick, instant gratification. That's this person. That's instant gratification. In and out, here for a good time. If you're looking for someone who's going to be there for a long time, if you're looking for something substantial, the way in which you're looking for it, I feel, is ineffective. You need to get more, Jesus, Nelly. You need to get more organic with it, right? Going for walks, maybe joining a running group if you're into that. Maybe going to a yoga class, right? Going somewhere, like, take the things that help nurture you, that nurture your feminine energy, because that's what feminine energy is. It's nurturing. Things that nurture you and fill you up, like food. What is that? Autumn in New York with Winona Ryder and Richard Gere. I think she's a Scorpio, but I can't remember. But he's a Virgo, and he's a chef, and she asks why he, like, what is it about food that makes him love it, and, you know, whatever, be a chef. And he said food is the only beautiful thing that truly nurtures or nourishes. And so, yeah, there's something with food, there's something with, like, and that's very much Taurus energy. So, like, I feel like nurturing and nourishing yourself truly, using the elements, you know, what you're putting into your body physically, your diet, the five senses, everything that you're putting in, taste, touch, smell. What's the other one? There's more. There's 5 of them. So whatever. But I don't want to get off this thought here. It's like, this is, whatever you're doing is not nourishing you. So do what nourishes you, and then you can incorporate other people in it, right? Like, you can incorporate yourself into areas where they're doing what you love, right? If you're, this can also be like going from drinking, if you're drinking too much, or, you know, drinking coffee or whatever it is, like whatever you were consuming, if it's not good, you can go to like sobriety bars, you can go to juice shops, right? And you can get things that are nourishing to the body, that are going to be healing for your body, healing to your immune system, your gut health, and infused with micronutrients and vitamins and minerals that will help you, especially if maybe it's just the season because it's winter, right? That will help with your body, your mind, and then open you up to the spiritual body, right? Because this is what you want. You want this cup that comes out of the blue, and I feel like that's how it's going to feel. I feel like that's how it's going to feel. It's going to feel almost out of the blue, like while you're in this place of sort of being like, bah humbug. This is almost like 5 of cups. Like, they're looking at these 3 cups here, and here out of nowhere is going to be your person. It's going to be this dreamy, almost angelic type entity that comes out of nowhere, that's going to make this, like, it's going to be like the vitamin C, maybe the letter C, maybe a Cancer, Capricorn. But this is like, this person is this energy, because I don't feel like this is just one person. I feel like this is a lot of things that keep coming around you. I feel like this person here is going to be like the antidote, the antidote, yeah, Tower, and the 7 of Cups. Knight of Swords, yeah. And see, it's the Knight of Swords because we have this 3 of Swords here. It's like they're going to guard your heart. This person's going to make sure, and Pisces need this sometimes. They need others because they are influenced by others. They need that, like, someone to kind of like keep them in line, but make sure that they're taking care of themselves, right? And I feel like whomever you were dealing with before, whatever you were giving your energy to before, was depleting you. Like, if you were dating and going to the bars to like find somebody, to find a serious relationship, the likelihood of finding someone in that space that is there for to be with you, to support you, to grow with you, very unlikely, you know? I'm not saying the divine doesn't work in mysterious ways and it can't happen. Maybe your friends dragged you to a bar, you didn't want to go, and their friends dragged them to the bar, they didn't want to go, and you guys meet each other, fall in love, and the end. Or the beginning. But just the likelihood, like we have the 7 of Cups here. This is like a lot of opportunities, this distractions. This is like doing emotional shadow work and finding what works for you. We have the Tower here. Now you may have, with the 4 of Cups, 7 of Cups, it's like what you're doing, because if you keep attracting these fools and you're like, why am I not attracting the fool? I'm attracting like these fools, but not the fool, the one who actually takes the leap of faith, that Aries, Aquarius, new beginning. Why am I not attracting new love? I'm like getting the same old person over and over, this lower vibration. Just remember that when you're in this energy, you know, remember that parasites and viruses, they need a healthy host too. So the higher your frequency gets, the closer you get to God, the closer the devil gets to you, right? Because you're doing something right. So just know that if you have all of these options and you're like, I'm looking at them and like, no thanks. Instead of letting that discourage you or push you into a place of like hopelessness, just remember, if that's all happening, it's because I must be getting close. I must be on the right track. So have that faith. I know it's easy to say, like, have faith. Have a little faith in me. We have the Knight of Cups. We have the Knight of Swords, Knight of Cups. We got someone who's going to fight for your love, someone who's going to keep coming back for your love. The Knight of Cups is Piscean energy. It's someone who they stay the course. They will like go through the marshes. They will travel to the end of time to make sure that they deliver this message of love. Okay, so this is someone who is going to be, you know, instead of getting hung up on, like if you're online dating and you have people who are, you're like, oh, you know, and you guys can do this because you are idealistic and you do fall in love with ideas and romanticize things, romanticize potential, where there isn't any. Like the potential you're falling in love with is actually your potential. And that's the only potential that you need to fall in love with, that you're required to fall in love with, right? You don't have to, free will, but the divine path will make sure that you do. So you can rise to the occasion or not, that's up to you. But I feel like you guys have the ability to do so and the desire to do so. So I'm going to keep talking about it. You know, you may have people that you're like, oh, well, why didn't they message me back? Why are they ghosting me? Why are they, instead of worrying about why other people are doing what they're doing, this person is going to stand out from the crowd because I feel like they're going to be persistent. They're going to pursue you. That was weird. It looked like there was something on my lip there. Anyway, this person's gonna pursue you. This person's gonna be vigilant. They're gonna be consistent. Consistency is key, right? We have the Three of Pentacles. This person wants to collaborate with you. This person might make an offer of like, they like whatever you're doing. Maybe whatever you start to do, you put it out there in a public way, right? We are in a world of, you know, a digitized world. So like meeting people organically is more challenging. And I do think that the World Wide Web was put there as a way to help connect us. There are positives to it. It does close the gaps. And if this person lives a distance away from you, and you maybe don't have the means or the courage or the timing isn't right or something isn't aligned for you to travel, right? To go like travel around and meet this person at some yoga studio across the United States or wherever you are. You know, maybe you'll meet online. Maybe this person sees what you're doing. Maybe you're going to start expressing yourself, right? By putting gardening out there. Maybe you're going to like talk about your health journey that you're doing, right? Maybe it's as simple as you're going to go to every body of water around you and you post. There's something about all the advice that just came out through this reading, and I don't recall all of it, but whatever in all those little tips or advice, suggestions, whatever resonated in there for you that you're like, oh, I wanted to do that. I used to be into yoga, I used to be into dancing, and I want to start talking about it or posting about it. Maybe you're going to just start sharing some self-care regimens or practices. Regiment sounds a little, you know, unself-care-ish. But whatever you share, whether it's because you're going to yoga class, you're going to a gardening, foraging class, right? They have those where you can go forage and walk through trails. Whether you meet organically or whether you meet online, it is through whatever work that you're doing on yourself, on your Holy Trinity, me, myself, and I, body, mind, and spirit, divine masculine, divine feminine, divine creation, whatever you call the Holy Trinity. When you do that self-work, and you start to be that self-work, right? And that's the Queen of Swords has to come to a place where she says, that means, with the Two of Swords as well, whatever I was doing before that wasn't working, I'm not doing that anymore, right? Like once you unveil the truth and you know what isn't working for you, it's your divine right and divine obligation, I would say. Like that's why you're here. You're here to do this work, to meet with your divine counterpart and to help shift the collective. So you can avoid that. You can free will. You can not do it, and then you're just maybe in a twin flame journey that never comes into divine union. But if you want to meet your person, which I believe you do, if you want to, fulfill your God's promise, your divine calling, God's promise, I don't know. And with attachments, it's like when you wake up after a night of being out drinking, whatever, you're like, I'm never doing that again. Or you're just like, after a casual hookup or something, you're like, oh, if I am clean from this, I will never do that again. I'll never do it again. Maybe there's like a promise that you made to God, and it's Yes Man, Jim Carrey, January 17th. And actually, maybe this person's your birthday twin, but Zoe Deschanel is also January 17th. They're birthday twins and they're lovers in that. There's definitely a mirroring, and maybe something with January 17th that's important to you, but, or it will be like your birthday twin. It's your twin flame regardless. So there is some sort of aspect that is very much the same. Maybe you have the same sign, a similar name, there could be something about you that's like, you have that. But in that, the speaker, the seminar guy for the Yes seminar, Say Yes seminars, is like when you make a promise to yourself, when you break a promise to yourself, things can get a little dicey. When you make a promise to God, whether you're praying outside of yourself, you're actually making a promise to yourself. And if you do not honor that promise, shit will hit the fan. The divine fan. Right? And that's all these blades here. It's like all these blades it's the divine fan. And it will keep cycling. It will keep going around and around and around until you break that cycle, until you go, oh, okay, I'm going to turn this shit off. I'm going to shut it down. That was a weird message, but maybe there's something in there for you. Hopefully there was something in this reading for you. Self-love, baby. Treat yourself. Treat yourself well. Be kind to yourself. The Empress and the Nine of Pentacles. That is Empress energy, right? I really feel like you guys need to tap into your feminine. Nurture yourselves. Take care of yourselves. The Fool. And when you do, the Fool is going to be watching, and they're going to take that leap of faith towards you. The masculine is going to take a leap of faith towards you. I've been doing these where I've been reading for the masculine and feminine. I feel like this was more obviously for the feminine. Not that the masculine shouldn't or cannot nurture their feminine. We all have masculine and feminine within us. But I do feel like this was more for the feminine, because the Nine of Pentacles that came out initially and the Nine of Pentacles there are two different ones. One is all about the superficial fashion, and the other one is about the earth, nature, nurturing, right? It's more holistic, right? So I hope something was in here for you, and until next time, I wish you well.